So, hello everyone. Hello everyone who fears that it is the end times. Do you fear that it is the end times? Do you? Rest assured, it is not. It is merely Thursday. And for that reason, you may partake of a little happy hour. What is the busiest day of the week for happy hour? Thursday, Friday? Anybody know? Wednesdays? How long can you go in your work week before you must succumb to a happy hour? That is the question, my fellow sweets, my sweets, my beautiful, sensitive people. Now, when I say happy hour, I don't mean alcohol, of course. I mean you can have whatever you like that allows you to lighten up, commiserate with friends. Maybe you love your job and you love your coworkers and you love them so much that you don't even want the day to end. You finish work and then you say, you know what, let's go have drinks because we're just having so much gosh darn fun. Let's take the party across the street. You ever work in a place like that? That would be fun. Get paid, have fun. The party keeps going. You take it across the street and you have happy hour. That works, right? No, you don't. Would you love to go to a job like that? Would that inspire you to be less enthusiastic, excuse me, about telework? Okay, now I'm comfy. Got to have my semi-lotus. Some people can't sit like this. Cheers, everyone. I'm having some strange drinks today, as is my way. Shalom. I'm having some chai tea, delicious, in my beautiful, excuse me, Finch mug. Something's setting me off. I think it's actually this thing. This thing is made, I think, from a, ooh, I just found a whisker. Is that good luck? I think my cat is actually on this cloth. I love this red on me. This red just totally goes with me. What do you think, people? But what do they say about whiskers? They say you're supposed to save them. Well, my cat, she's definitely magical. But every time I think she sleeps on this, but every time I put this on, I start to cough. So I have put it through the wash, but for whatever reason, something in it sets me off. Great to see everybody. Let's go ahead. We'll turn the camera over to you. Tell me who you are. Hi, K Travel Tarot. I guess I'm going to see you tomorrow. I have a friend stopping by. A couple of us girlfriends are going to hang out and do a little, I don't know. What do you, I think we might go to the waterfront. I think, Kay, you said you were going to meet with us after 1 o'clock, right? Just text me and then we'll meet up with you somewhere downtown. We'll take you to lunch, girlfriend. But no Thai food. She and I have overdosed on Thai. I've eaten so much Thai food lately. Hi, Kitty Connell. Though I made my own pizza today. Anyone here make your own pizza? Do it. It's worth it. Roxanne Clement is in house. Welcome, Kitty Connell. Thank you for being here, Kitty. Geocosmic, thank you for your help today. Oh, my goodness. Janine H., thank you. Janice in the house. Thank you for your love, support, and memberships. Thank you to everybody, by the way, who's become a member. We have some new members here. Of course, Kitty, Janice, Chris, Geocosmic, Wendy Burt, Queen D, Debbie Brady, of course, in the house, here to help us. She is a talent manager. She also heads the fan pages over at the channel. At Facebook. Anything else I need to remind you of? Yes, Tuesday, March 26th, excuse me. Tuesday, March 26th at 6 p.m., Chuck and I will be discussing Victims and Survivors by Leslie Kane. If Leslie Kane could email me, whimsyanderson@gmail.com, we'd like to set you up for a live interview. We very much would like to talk with you about your book. Maybe you can read passages of the book. I found it very profound and intimate. If you want my personal opinion about the book, I found it intimate, and I felt that the author shared things in ways that I found refreshing for these types of books. So that would be my review. She really brings everything in: poetry, ideas, also some stream of consciousness, how we evolve out of how we use the tools of surviving to actually thrive. So a great book, much respect and honor to Leslie Kane. If you would like to transform the tools you use to survive into how to thrive, then this is definitely the book for you. The other great thing about this book is it helps you realize, if you have survived tragedies, that you're actually doing much better than you realize. And that was something that I really took away from Leslie Kane's work, is like, I'm already doing this, or I've already looked at these things. And she just made me feel a lot less alone. Also, she was kind enough to sign the book, and I very much appreciate that. Thank you, Leslie. Okay, any other announcements? Yes, so Chuck and I were off I'm off as well, but not really. I had to take some days off for taxes. As you know, the taxes are done. People said TurboTax. Well, I have Intuit, and so I have a really good system. And then I also have a tax person look over it. So I feel like I got a pretty good deal. Still, gosh, we sometimes feel like we pay more than we should. Isn't that the case? What can you do? Joel Tilson is in the house. Give a warm welcome to him. He is the official floor director. He is here to help empower you so that all of your questions can be answered. We're going to go ahead now, do the Empath prayer, and then when you give me the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away, Joel is going to help me coalesce all your questions, and we're going to try and get to as many as possible while having a little fun here as well. If you like what you see, be sure and share, like the stream, and think about memberships. We get together on Saturdays for free readings for members, and we also teach HCRV. Debbie just sent me a hack for getting the hair off. Thank you. I'll look at that. What else did I have to say? Oh, yeah. If you want to learn remote viewing, we teach it for $9.99 at Wednesdays if you join our Healers Empaths program. Okay, let's do the Empaths prayer, and then you can give me the order to blitz, blitz, blitz away. Sound good? All right, let's do it. And if anyone has prayers for anyone who needs healing at this time, anyone you love and care about, you can mention their names, and we will include those who require healing, including yourselves, as we say the Empath prayer. We include the names of those people who choose to have your name or someone else's names posted, that we include them in our prayer. We can start doing that. I absolutely think that's a wonderful idea. And so we hold these people in our prayers for them to receive a perfect healing. So let's do the Empath prayer. Okay. I want to call on white light. I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community, as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to heal those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively as a community, we say, Amen. And we also want to ask for special prayers for those people whose names have been mentioned in the comments, that they receive a perfect healing as well. All right, so with a blitz away and good vibes to all, let's go ahead and see what you're all talking about. Oh my goodness, there is just so much. My magic wand? Y'all like my magic wand? Yes, I like my magic. Did I get the order to blitz away? I hope so. Oh, you watched my morning show? Yes, I was up at 3:30 in the morning, putzing around. Let me tell you, folks, I've gone crazy on herbs. Y'all need to stop me. It's like when you decide that you're going to create heaven on earth, and when you decide, you know what, I'm going to take my dreams seriously, and no one's getting in my way, and this is important, or I am not coming back here, right? Got to finish it this time. If you don't finish your mission, you're going to have to come back. So you might as well start having fun now. I'm going to have to run to your house, jump on your bed, jump up and down like a crazy monkey and say, you must get happy now. Yes, because healing the world and being happy is why you're here, not Armageddon. They got it wrong. Yes. Just to be happy, my dears. You must be happy. Happy and joyful and eating yummy food and loving and being loved and excited about whatever your projects are. May it be so. What else can I bless you with? That you not have lumps in your oatmeal. Some of us like oats. I like the lumps. Everyone has their journey. All right, so it looks like we've got a comment here from our amazing Joel. He would like to know about the Wagner forces joining Ukraine, invading Russian cities. Would not surprise me in the least, because their fearless leader, I would not also be surprised if MI6, who had basically said we're paying Russia to work for us. So you have to realize that if the ruble is collapsed, and if you're a soldier that's only getting paid 200 ruble a month, which is basically cigarettes and maybe a little beer occasionally or vodka occasionally, you're not really getting enough money for much of anything. Wagner's not going to take that. Wagner, whatever you want to call them, is not going to take that deal. So it doesn't surprise me that Russian forces were taking bribes from Ukrainians and from the West. And in fact, that's why many people feel that Putin will lose the war, that we will simply pay better wages than he can, and that will eventually cause the Russian army to go belly up. They simply cannot financially outcompete us. And particularly when their own people are attempting to sabotage. A lot of Russian sabotage is coming from Russia now, because and what shocked me was the number of high school students that were involved, because they're terrified that they're going to be going to war themselves in the next 6 months. They graduate in June, right? So they're even more terrified than anyone. Their name's on the list. So they feel they're walking to a certain death, right? Let's take a look and see about in general, what's going on with the attacks and how it's going in the war against. It's interesting just to see what's going on in terms of civil unrest with Russia. But let's take a look. All right, the situation at this time, there's a man moving very quickly who's a man of war. So some man of war. I used to think of Prigozhin as like the king of swords, in the sense that he was a military man who was like the ice king militant. But a king of wands is more bloodthirsty. He is the king of blood. And so you have this movement. Chariot is to go forward. It's like a car. It can be a race, a political race. We use the chariot because it literally is a race. So we have this forward movement and we have this bloody king going forward, and where things are happening very quickly, and we could see an escalation of the war. They're talking about August time, many dead. Remember, when spring hits, the advantage falls to Ukraine and the disadvantage falls to Russia. Russia may feel that they used the last of their money, they're producing more bombs than the West. Their production for bombs is greater. But that isn't the problem. So people look at that and they say, well, Russia's winning the war because they're producing a lot of bombs. Producing a lot of bombs that aren't really doing much, and they're producing a lot of bombs in a country that doesn't have soldiers. So you can sit around and produce all the bombs you want, but if you don't have enough soldiers to fight the war is over. But you can see by August, many in the grave. What is above? The war's going on. Knight of Swords is the battle. It's also a card that I used traditionally as COVID because it's a card of angry wind energy. And when we think about angry wind, we think about something that would attack your lungs, for example, the violence of the wind, the windy storm, the storming violence. So this is a war card. And again, grief. These cards are very much speaking about the war being very intense, being very bloody, being very violent, and that it hits some kind of extreme peak in the heat. You can see here again the sun. When the sun hits, we have this massive heating up of things, and then a kind of grace hits after August, where you have this high priestess moving in. So this energy comes into the war that's of another nature. So you have this violent yang. It's just going on, and it's churning on with this Knight of Swords. And as if nobody's going to come in and tear these two apart. And then this energy comes in, this the high priestess. The Queen of Wands, the queen who goes into battle. Again, always remember that Queen of Wands in general, always about territory, my way or the highway, boom, boom, right? She's my way or the highway, my space. Yeah. Her opposition, Lovers. So the opposition is anybody that's trying to make a deal, anyone that's trying to compromise Ukraine and say, well, wave the white flag. So Ukraine she carries the, why is, I'm going to see how smart you guys are, because you guys are really smart. Why is Queen of Wands used as the card for the Ukraine? I got bitten by something. Either that or I'm having I think, is this wool? Oh, maybe I'm reacting to wool. So anybody know? Dun. Let me see if I got dun 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 da 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 dun 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 dun. It's the sunflower. Very good. We got the right answer from Auntie Scamantha. You win free popcorn, as does Steve Myers. Jane the Seeker Tarot. Very good. Yes. Most of the readers have been using Queen of Wands because a country is usually female and because the Queen of Wands carries the sunflower. Yes. So regarding Ukraine, she doesn't want to make a deal. The opposition is the Lovers, the hope and the fear for Ukraine. Nine of Swords, that it will never end. It's just this, it's a stress at night. They're being terrorized by a psychopath, and people are saying, well, just surrender to the psychopath. And how exactly would that work? So we surrender to the psychopath and things get better? No, it means the psychopath is going to have more access to you. They've kidnapped thousands of innocent children, and you want us to give them more access? This is insanity, right? The final outcome is the devil. They are changed. So the other thing is that, unfortunately for Ukraine, they must dismantle whatever was. Ukraine was a very corrupt society. It's true. They had a lot of corruption, human trafficking. mafia, all kinds of horrible things were happening in Ukraine. And it still is. You have this kind of devil energy, like mafioso, dark energy, but you also have the karma of Ukraine, and her opposition carries the heavy load. The burden is on her opposition, the hopes and fears that justice will be served over the criminal elements in business that have literally sold chunks of the country to the other side. And so what happened to Ukraine is what Russia had hoped would happen to the United States. Politicians, people in positions of power that took money and were compromised in business in Ukraine so that they would become pro-Putin. And so he assumed that he was going to get a lot more support than he did. You can see here the devil is over the Queen of Finance. So corruption in finance ultimately is the biggest challenge for Ukraine. And then the final outcome for Ukraine: continued fighting until, say, around August. It does not appear to be ending with those cards anytime soon. At the same time, Putin's cards have been terrible. I think that whoever the successor is to Putin, it's going to be somebody who is going to be able to say, let's get the hell out of here. It wasn't my war. It was the previous administration, but that can't happen until they get rid of him. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, how could you possibly surrender to people stealing children? That's such a level of psychopathy. I mean, how how NATO can just sit back and allow this happen? I'm surprised NATO. The only reason NATO hasn't come in because he's hold its human shields with nuclear weapons. I'll blow the whole place up if you come in. So it's a bad situation. It's a very bad situation. So there's been some questions I'm seeing. Joel, are they talking about Jared now? Okay. So I'm a little confused about, I know that Jared was very active in the Abraham Accords, which actually was good. With theoretically, this idea that, people wouldn't be killing each other anymore in the Middle East. But let's take a look at Jared Kushner's karma. Evidently, he is not feeling the slightest bit guilty about disowning his father-in-law. Let's take a look. Jared Kushner, how are you doing? I think the thing that makes people feel so uncomfortable about him is that he is someone who does not welcome people into his life. He made people uncomfortable because he's not someone who makes gestures. He does not make outward gestures to befriend many people. I think that that's the takeaway I feel when I go into his energy. This is a loner. And anytime you're a loner, other people are afraid of you. If you just simply go about your business and you make no efforts to, don't you want to be my friend? Don't you want to smile? Why doesn't he want to be my friend? Why doesn't he make an effort? There's something always about him that people perceive of as standoffish. His base card, the Hermit, I will say that he presents as very much an intellectual, very much a scholar, someone who was quiet, who grew up learning how to study, maybe because he was raised in a religious home where they studied the Talmud. And so he grew up with a very serious, studious upbringing, a difficult childhood, perhaps. But he presents himself as very studious, very much enjoying learning, almost like an autistic. He has similar energy to Elon Musk in the sense that he's very much in his head, People think he might be a little bit of a sociopath, maybe, right? That kind of energy of brainy, but also scary, right? The karma card here is the Hierophant also. So there's this feeling of his religious beliefs or his spiritual beliefs and his scholarship uh, very much impact his decisions. Where he is at right now, the King of Cups, the bridge over troubled water. So he is still working in some kind of a mediation. You know, the bridge over troubled water, the emotional king, the King of Cups, he is stationary while the waters are troubled. And so he often is someone who's a counselor, somebody who tries to smooth the waters. They say he will be victorious in mediating peace. It could be, for example, now that the Abraham Accords is coming in, they're trying to get peace in Gaza, rebuild, right? That he may be influential in getting the Abraham Accords to help pay for part of the rebuild, for example, because you have this Ace of Swords with him, which is victory in the war. What is above him, Six of Pentacles, which is again giving out charity or benefactors. Again, it could be in relationship to the rebuild. I think he's probably working with that because of the Abraham Accords, and his partnerships, his global partnerships are represented here in terms of his service. His past placement is the King of Swords, which is an air sign male. I'm assuming that's his father-in-law. So his father-in-law, Trump, is seen as having been, for him, as far as Jared is concerned, Trump was a stepping stone for me to be able to get in and have a leg in to do international deals and business with these people that benefits my personal interest, benefits Israel, benefits my company. And so for Jared, he's not saying, he's not going to ever publicly say anything negative about his father-in-law, but father-in-law, did I say stepfather? Father-in-law. It's not that he's going to say anything bad about him, but rather he is the past. So I got what I needed from him and from that relationship. And these relationships are now established. And so I don't necessarily need him anymore. The near future for Jared is things are slowing down or could stop. And I think that's if you're looking at action, reaction, what go, the energy and then its effect. The fifth and the sixth house. The fifth house is Trump, his action, and the reaction is it's over, or the Knight of Pentacles. So that would indicate basically that Jared Kushner's relationship with his father, at least on a professional level, is finished. And that it was a relationship of opportunity. Where he's at right now, things are moving very quickly for him. Again, here, Four of Swords, the opposition. I guess that's Trump. He no longer has a relationship with him because, again, he accomplished the relationship he wanted. His hope and his fears, his soulmate or his true love. His final outcome for him, he fears incarceration or to be cornered. He feels that he is being cornered, bullied, incarcerated. So perhaps he's afraid that he's being pressured because of the fact that he is beginning to alienate his father-in-law. His father-in-law could retaliate in some way. There could be some kind of backlash. Let me try and clarify why Jared feels that way. He's confused at this time regarding his opposition. There's some kind of private investigation going on with him. Perhaps something hidden regarding possible illegal issue that has him a little confused. Maybe he thought that he was going to get off with Robert Mueller, and then he came, like Robert Mueller is sometimes called a bit of a scorpion. You think he's gone, and then whammo, he hits you. Maybe they thought, well, we gave them what they wanted. We cooperated with the investigation to take Trump down. So we're off the hook and we can go and make another $1 billion. And unbeknownst to them, there is still a little tiny ember of an investigation burning under him that he knew nothing about regarding his international work. And that appears to be what we're looking at. You can see here he's baffled about a rapidly moving situation. His opposition, the hidden queen of the Torah, right? Torah meaning the law, some kind of a hidden thing. We're not going to get you on. So that's Bobby. This is when I got to talk to my old pal, Bobby. Robert Mueller. You gotta stop with the whole stinger, hornet kind of scorpion reputation, you know. It's like a Putin thing to do, right? You know, he thought he was off the hook. And then whammo, here comes Bobby, right? Here comes. So, say, for example, the FBI is collecting stuff and they put it in little files. And so a person may be cooperating with an ongoing investigation, but other data was collected that could result in charges down the road, particularly if he's still engaging, as this would suggest, in questionable activity. You can see he's confused about a rapidly evolving investigation. His partnerships. It also had something to do with global partnerships. And then you can see here, he's still running the risk of a divorce. 6 of Cups and then 5 of Pentacles would indicate fear of loss of money, loss of partnership, and fear of incarceration due to global involvement. The world over, the card of that I read as being cornered and possibly facing incarceration. So the feds are clearly not done with poor Jared. Jared. They went back to Jared. There you go. I know. They have not stopped having fun with him. At the same time, he's, you know, do we perceive of him as an important person? Sure. He had an important history, you know, in the previous administration, but clearly that's not going to help him going forward. If it's been determined while they were investigating that, they uncover another investigation or questionable activity that appears to still be going on. Okay, next question. Thank you, Joel, for helping me today. Trump Tower seized by AG James next week. Okay, so as you know, Mr. I'm so rich doesn't have enough money to pay what he owes. Anybody want to talk about that? Anybody surprised that he's broke? Anybody surprised that the remote views from 3-4 years ago said this guy didn't have any money? Anybody surprised that, yet again, we were? Right. We're just having fun. Surprised he doesn't have the money? No. Let's take a look. Well, what did the accountant say when we made contact with what we think was the intelligence of the accountant, right? We'd like to think the guy was he said Trump is broke. I'm almost, lately when I shuffle for Trump, I find I'm a little scared, not for myself, but, not for him. Like, what am I going to see? Every time I go, it looks bad. So a judgment against him. And there's Mueller's card again. Look at that. The War King. Somebody is coming after him. Somebody strong. Boom, boom. It's like whammo. The King of Wands after him and a judgment against him. It could be the judge, but this is, again, a King of Wands is a war king. It's aggressive, it's hot, it's fiery, and the judgment is unfortunately coming after this person. Where he's at right now, travel. Oh, that's right, because he's on the campaign. We're trying to see if he's going to have it taken, right? Two of Cups. He's trying to see if he can pay in increments. Look at that. 2 of Cups is like, well, can I pay you? I will kindly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today. You know that song? So that's kind of what we got going on here, right? So 2 of Cups is moving into 6th position. It could be there's an appeal or some attempt by his attorneys to see if they can't put up a payment plan of some type or something like that with the 2 of Cups. I don't know the law. Magician. He is someone who's a magician. He can always whip up a cake, right? He's like Betty Crocker he's the Betty Crocker of legal problems, right? Trump, he always can whip something up, right? Well, figure a way, he's like MacGyver. You ever see MacGyver? He's always escaping these horrible situations. I think of Trump as like the MacGyver of the legal system. It's like, you've got 30 seconds, Trump. Hurry up, MacGyver, magician. So it's this feeling that he's always going to be able to get one more appeal, delay, 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 delay. It's just a terrible, this terrible injustice. The other attempting to heal. It's amazing how much damage someone like this can do. The hope and the fear, walking away from everything. The final outcome for Trump, he is defending himself against multiple allegations, 7 of Wands. It will not go well for him. Do you really think you have to be psychic, though, to predict that this guy has no future? I mean, like, what? How could the Republican Party have gone so insane that they would actually think somebody with 91 federal counts with this kind of history who tried to tear down the country is the best candidate for presidency? That the level of insanity, we have slid down so low. Well, I think we slid low when Reagan got elected. That to me was a nightmare. I mean, like, this is like so much worse. The clarification for us. Oh, yes, I will gladly. Yeah, that's Trump. Trump is wimpy. Yeah, not to be mistaken with whimsy. He may get some of his charges dropped. There's a star over at 7 of Wands, but I don't see the judges agreeing not to prosecute him until after the election. I just don't see that. I see civil suits and multiple charges, and I don't see these judges caring at all that this guy is going to be running for office or anything else. This guy's just getting hit hard, and I don't see them letting up. So I think it's going to be very, very, very difficult, if not impossible, for Trump to run a successful campaign when he has this kind of legal problems breathing down his neck. Okay, what else are we looking at here today? Yeah, when you think of what Kathleen O'Malley is saying, the GOP is nothing like the days of the Eisenhower Party. Absolutely. I mean, if you look at where the Republican Party was headed in the 60s, 70s, they were moving towards public health, free choice, or pro-choice, excuse me. It's really pretty amazing to see where the party was headed at that time and where it wound up. Public health, they were working on public health. Where they were headed and everything that could have happened and everything, it's almost like everything changes after Reagan. This kind of slow, progressive move of the Republican Party. We saw it with Nixon, where they're moving towards the middle, and then Reagan comes along, and then everything kind of collapses. And then they move in that reactionary and just start dismantling government, resources, safety nets, etc. That's when the real dismantling starts to happen. It's really very sad. Trickle down. Yeah. So do we have a Republican Party? And if so, what will it look like? Let's take a look. The future of the GOP. I don't know, Kathleen. Is anybody optimistic? We need an opposition party, don't you think, for that it's healthy to have debate and discourse, and that if we don't have that, that's not necessarily good for our country, right? It's scary. It's a scary time in this country. I really hope we can protect ourselves. Okay, so what is going on with our country right now? It says we are going to be okay, and a lot of the reason has to do with Biden. I think he's going to be reelected. I do. So we have this steady government. We have this kind of steady energy coming in. Ace of Swords is the base of the cards. So we have this positive energy coming in. I don't think that the Republican Party, Ace of Swords is to have victory. If you're worried that, the craziness that was the Tea Party, I think it's finishing, because they're talking about the strength of the individual, and they're talking about how the strength of the individual is what preserved the Republican Party during the craziness. So why is this chopping off my head? There you go. So you have Karma card, which is like the strength of the individual, Nine of Pentacles, and then Ace of Swords. So not having that mindset where everything is it has to be groups speak. Also, 10 of Cups moving in is a very good omen. It would mean that they're starting to be more inclusive in their party. One of the reasons why this Republican Party went belly up is because they started becoming enemies of everybody that wasn't part of the cult, and so they became so restrictive that they no longer could win, and that became ultimately the death of what is now the Trump Party. They just became so narrow and extreme that it was no longer a wide enough umbrella. 10 of Cups is the rainbow, it's that a rainbow inclusiveness, and then you have this strong female, possibly a fire sign coming in. So again, that is indicating not only a new beginning for the Republican Party, but it's also indicating that it will be much wider tent and that it will include more women. What is above King of Pentacles would indicate that there's also a new male leadership. Truth is coming out regarding old ways of doing things. So the old academics, intellectuals that loved the Republican Party are still there as individuals waiting to clean up the mess after this party collapses. 5 of Swords taking away the weapons. The opposition fears imprisonment. 10 of Wands. It's like Peter Navarro, didn't he go to prison a couple of days ago? So you have the slow, steady march of the people that destroyed the Republican Party are finally getting charged and going to prison, the big honchos. But you have here again 9 of Wands, which is my incarceration or fear of incarceration or being cornered. The hope and the fear at this time is 6 of Pentacles, which is justice. That there will be that justice will be meted out, a balance, and Chariot would be the race or moving forward. The clarification for the future of the Republican Party, for those people who care about the old Republican Party, the sun is coming out. They will rebuild their party from the ashes. You have to realize Ace of Swords has a kind of dark aspect to it, in the sense that underneath the Ace of Swords is the clouds. You cannot have an Ace of Swords without being a survivor, because the meaning of the Ace of Swords is the crown that you only get that crown when you have survived. So if you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you were given everything, then it's a type of nobility you'll never be granted. It's the nobility that's earned through surviving and thriving despite great suffering. Child abuse survivors. It's a kind of spiritual royalty or an anointing that is associated with the Ace of Swords that is granted to remarkable people who have survived great adversity. So in the spiritual realm, in the mystical realm, they have a different interpretation of what it is to be a royal, clearly. Ace of Swords is the card of royalty in the spiritual world. It's very different than royalty in this world. And so when we examine, what do you mean, God, when you speak of this thing that's talking about kings and royalty, they would ask you to examine the Ace of Swords. But you have to see the clouds in the arm. So what holds up your crown is the suffering. It's the suffering, right? From that suffering, from that hell, you were tempered into fine steel, right? The metal was purified. These are spiritual ideas that are mentioned in Kabbalah, and forged a perfect pure steel from the cloud. And then you wear that crown of victory. You know, that comes with saying, "Oh yeah, honey, I'm a survivor, and I wear that crown." So that is the deeper spiritual meaning of Ace of Swords. In that sense, I think if you're someone that's fighting the good fight to preserve a party that's going through something like this, it's very important to stand as an individual and wait for that moment when people are ready to listen. But I think at this time, many people that are still wrapped up in this cult, are not ready to listen. People are starting to listen. Nine of Pentacles, which is the karma right now for those people that want to create a new Republican Party, it's all about strength of the individual. They have to be able to stand on their own as the Ace of Swords. Because what's his name? Kissinger or whatever his name is, and the other person who did the January 6th committee. They have to stand as individuals, even when they were thrown out of their party, even when they were threatened, given death threats. They stood alone, and the spiritual lessons that come from that, all of that can be found in the Nine of Pentacles. And I think it's beautiful that it sits with the Ace of Swords. From that will come victory. Okay, I think we have great questions, everybody, great conversations, and I think we're going to have time for one more question. Y'all having fun? Is everybody liking and subscribing so that I don't have to go back out there in the mean, horrible world and become a waitress again? Thank you. Just kidding. Not. I did not like being a waitress. It was very hard work, and I was very stressed out. It's a very stressful job. Anybody else been a waitress? And your feet hurt? All right, Lincoln Projects taking over the GOP after Trump. What a great idea. Well, that's intellectuals, right? So you'd be having intellectual conversations with, that might be interesting. What is going to be the role of the Lincoln Project in the building of the new Republican Party, which evidently is going to happen after they, burn this 2024 election to the ground, which is what it's looking like. We're trying to help you save your party, right? All right, let's take a look at the Lincoln Project. Okay, the Lincoln Project. It continues to be funded. So the main thing that people need to know about the Lincoln Project is that the money will keep coming from people who believe in the Lincoln Project, and that includes former Republicans. So the Ace of Pentacles is with the man who started the Lincoln Project. I don't know what his name is, but he has plenty of money coming in from multiple sources to make sure he continues to do what he's doing. Where he's at right now, Six of Cups. So the Lincoln Project, people are coming back. People from old, how can we help the Lincoln Project? Six of Cups is about coming back to what they love. The crossing card is Five of Cups, or Five of Pentacles, excuse me. So that's poverty, people walking away. They lost people from the party. So it's this desire to bring people who feel disenchanted back to the party to rebuild the party. What is above them is, again, Knight of Cups would be like a wooing. It's the ambassador's card. Our diplomats have been sent, right? A diplomat. Concern about the president. I'm assuming that's Trump, right? The king, the emperor, the past placement, schmoozing. I'm assuming with the Democrats. And then future things are moving this is a war that's happening very quickly with the Lincoln Project. Knight of Wands is swift, right? Where they're at right now, 10 of Cups. Yeah, I think they're much better off than they've been in the past. And the Star, they're getting a lot more funding. There are a lot of Republicans working with Democrats with the Lincoln Project that want to make sure this guy does not get elected. You can see here 2 Cups. Again, that's the back and forth with others. Final outcome is a solid partnership. So yes, it's interesting. You bring in some intellectual Democrats that will say, well, this is our argument, but here's the intellectual argument that you should be taking. That's our opposition, right? But it looks like a good and healthy, robust, respectful debate is what's best for the country. And then the clarification is that the biggest problem or challenge for the Republican Party going forward will be corrupt business associates and corrupt business dealings. There are bad people in the bedroom. There are bad people in the family. There are bad relationships. So maybe we took money from lobbyists or groups that we have moral and ethical problems with, and the Republican Party is chained to the devil. Maybe they're chained to the church, and the church is taking money that's and mixing it with politics by giving it to the Heritage Foundation or somewhere else. And in that way, they've bypassed separation of church and state. The devil could be that they're chained to ethics, beliefs, or relationships that they're having moral problems with. And until they break that chain, the Republican Party will continue to have problems. It remains, these relationships, the biggest threat to the security and the stability of their party. All right. Did everybody have fun? Did we get to everything? Have we gotten the royals out of everybody's system? They say that Kate will be back for Easter services if her health is good, and that she needs to put on weight. So we want to send her healing that she eat something, right? If that's true, she needs to eat, take care of herself, right? So that she can be healthy at Easter. So we want to send good vibes to her, good vibes to all of you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It was a lot of fun. If you haven't had a chance yet to do so, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to reach me for a tarot reading, be sure and check out the information below this video. Also, if you need to reach me as a doctor of naturopathic medicine for a consultation, that information is also below this video. And of course, as we always say here, be kind to all so that all will be kind to you too. We are out of here. Love and light, and God bless. We'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.